Hello, everyone. I'm Denise Boggs, and I want to welcome you as we journey together through healing the heart. We're continuing to bring you some understanding on the Stony Heart and how it affects you. I hope that you've been able to identify at least one stone. And just to review, a stone in the heart is an area in your heart where you were hurt deeply. And you closed your heart because you were hurt and you weren't able to talk to anyone about it. In my own life, I'll share a moment in my own life when my dad left at 9 years old, and my mom just did not give me that opportunity to talk about it. It hardened my heart. A stone formed every single night as I would lay in my bed and think about how hurt I was that my dad's gone. I had no idea that stones were forming, but my heart was closing towards my dad, to the point that progressively I didn't want anything to do with him. I didn't want to talk to him. And I went for years, when I did not have a relationship at all with my dad because my heart had stones in it. And my heart had closed towards my dad. Now, I had no idea how this was affecting me until it began to affect my marriage. My marriage. That's when I knew I needed healing. You learn how to cope with pain from childhood in your teenage years. You come up with ways to just numb and cope with pain, and then you get married. And marriage is interesting because it triggers unresolved pain from parents. Marriage triggers unresolved pain with your parents. Okay, because you were living in a home with your parents, now you're trying to create a home with a spouse. And so it's really an opportunity that you can carry the pain of the past and really set it up, even in your marriage. And so with my husband and I, it was hard for us to talk about certain topics. So you can recognize if there's a stone by the topics you don't want to talk about. We couldn't talk about finances and didn't know why. I would get upset or he'd get upset. But we both had painful things that had happened in the area of finances. As we grew up, my dad left. So he didn't provide. He did not send child support. And so that created a stone, a hard place in my heart. I was hurt and I was angry because he did not provide. But I took that pain into my marriage. That's the way I'm viewing my husband. He's not providing. I projected my pain from the past to my husband in the present. Now, that blocked and hindered him. He couldn't even have visions and hopes and dreams and move forward in what God had called him to do because he's always coming up against a block if he shared with me because I'm not even seeing how I'm blocking him. But I'm saying, well, how much money are you going to make? How much money? How much? Is that going to be enough money? Because, see, I'm still living out of the pain of childhood when we didn't have money. So you can be affecting your marriage with your pain and not even know it because you project it. And he would do the same with me with some of the pain that he had with his own mom. And so if I asked him to go get a gallon of milk at the store on the way home from work, oh my goodness, by the time he got home, he just slams it down on the counter. Here's your milk. Remember when there's a tone, there's a stone? Here's the milk. I mean, his whole tone would change. And I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? Well, his mom would, she would be laying on the couch when he came home from school. She had some sickness. And she'd just tell him what to do all the time, telling him what to do. And so instead of her doing the home things during the day, he had to do them when he came home from school because she wasn't feeling well. So he made a vow. He said, when I get out of this house, no woman will tell me what to do. I was triggering that pain and the vow he made because I'm asking him to get a gallon of milk. I'm telling him what to do. So again, the pain of your past triggers you because you're living out a vow you make. No woman will tell me what to do, was his vow. Now I want you to know, if you will work through the stones in your heart, identify the pain, but also want you to identify the vows that you may have made during that painful time. Every day when Lee came home from school, it was painful because his mom just tells him what to do. She doesn't ask about his day. She doesn't ask him, did he have a good day at school? No. She tells him what to do. And so he's triggered. He's triggered when I ask him to just get a gallon of milk on the way home. These things are simple, but they can make or break a marriage. If you don't know the stones in your heart that you carry into the marriage, and if you don't have a safe place in the marriage to work through them, you just project it on the other one. And that's what we did for years, but thank you, Lord. He brought healing to us. I recognized I needed healing by my overreactions and how it was causing so much trouble in my marriage. So I want you to look at your marriage today. If you're married, look at anything that triggers you and causes you to overreact. That's a good place to start looking for the pain, for the stones that you formed in your heart when a parent was not there for you, showing you God's love. If you closed your heart, then you formed a stone there, because a closed heart gets hardened. An open heart can freely communicate. Love flows. But a closed area in your heart, you can't communicate in that area. So I started off this podcast saying we couldn't talk about finances. We couldn't, because both of us had pain in the area of finances. So choose those areas in your marriage, or even if you're not married, areas where you get triggered easily. You just don't want to talk about it. Those are the areas to look at and see, is there pain there that I need to get healed from? Okay, I hope this has helped you. And next podcast, I'm going to talk about how that any area in our heart where we've closed our heart, we're alienated from the life of God, the fullness of the life that God has prepared for you, but you're just alienated from it. You can't even enter into it. So the next podcast is going to help you see any area where you've been blocked and hindered from entering into the life of God. God bless you.